You can tell the torque right away, man. By one gear you're already car length and fucking pulling, man. And I'm same start and everything, you know what I mean? Very nice. Sounds fucking sick, dude.
What's going on, guys? Probably day 4 at this point. After work, once again, getting my hands dirty with the Turbo R18 Civic. Again, if you're new to the channel, we turboed this with the eBay turbo kit, and it finally started knocking on us. I blew the motor essentially, depending on what you consider blowing the motor. So from the last video, or this video, I don't even know how I'm editing it, we took off the entire turbo kit. We got that right over here, man. And that turbo kit, look at that. That looks really good. And I'm looking at all the charge pipes. There was no oil contamination or anything from the compressor. So this compressor side sealed really good, and that was running perfectly. Very good condition on this turbo. The intercooler, same thing. Just look how spotless the core is. No oil, nothing like that. Alright, so let me tell you guys what I have been doing today. Today I took off the cowl right over here, so we have a lot more access towards the rear of the motor. A couple bolts for that. Then we started disconnecting the wire harness, right? So you got your this is for your coils, all your temperature sensors, EGR sensor, engine coolant temperature sensor, O2 sensor. You have your manifold pressure sensor, your injectors over here. You have some alternator wires here, your mass airflow sensor, the throttle body or drive-by-wire throttle sensor. Another sensor here. We pretty much disconnected all those wires so we can remove the head eventually, right? And we're getting there slowly. There's still 2 wires that go to the starter, but it's so tight underneath the car I can't even pull it up. But I think even though I didn't pull those out, I can wiggle the head out. I still have to disconnect the fuel line here when I'm taking the head off. Some coolant temperature sensors I also took apart. I took apart one from the throttle body. You know, some of these hoses here that go to the coolant. Actually, I just noticed I kind of squished this plastic one here on whatever this is. I'm not even sure what this is, but I did squish it. That's just the name of the game when you're doing this. We took off the water pump right over here with 3 bolts, and the hardest thing, which I've seen online, was to take off this belt tensioner. But I actually had this, I think it's an 8. Oh, it says 5/16. I actually just popped this big boy in there, and I was able to break it loose from under the vehicle here. So at this point, I think we have enough room to start taking maybe the crank pulley bolt. This is gonna be a hard one. I heard a lot of people having issues with this. I have a electric impact gun. I may need a compressor powered one, air tool, and then we'll start taking off some of these 10mm bolts all around here, because we need to take the timing cover off so we can undo the timing chain. This is already loose. We got it for the most part. Well, it's a little turned now, but we have to get it to top dead center, get the links aligned before we pull the head, so we know it's in the right orientation later. And we're probably gonna have to put a jack under the vehicle, take off the mounts here on the passenger side, so we may have to lower the engine. I don't know. I've seen people lowering the engine. I don't know if it was to remove this bolt here, but I mean, we got it off. So I may or may not have to lower the engine, but we'll see once we get there, actually. Slowly but surely. Honestly, like I said, this is all my first time doing something to this extent. I mean, just last week I was driving this car, beating on it. I did not think I'd be doing this the following week, but when life gives you lemons, you take it, you deal with it, and you go from there. So I'll keep you guys updated here once I get through more work on the R18 today. And beautiful day today, man. It's almost 70 degrees, so I'm blessed. I'm gonna try to work out here as long as I can. I did order a new piston and rod. Well, not new, a used rod and piston from a R18 8th Gen Civic. That's what's probably gonna get replaced here on cylinder number 1, just to get it going, get a straight rod in there. We looked at the bearing. I don't know if I showed you guys the bearing already. The bearing on the bottom rod cap looked great, from my opinion and a few other people's opinions that, you know, work with motors and rebuild motors, so that's good. There was some marring on the crankshaft, but that's to be determined. That once I take that out, I'll have a better look at it. So yeah, that's the update, and stay tuned. I don't know how comfortable I feel with that block under the car, but it seems to be holding up okay. I can't get this bolt off. That's the problem. And I need to get this bolt off, to get this bolt off, to get this bracket off. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, let me give you guys the update. Again, wiring harness removed. We removed the engine mount right over here, the engine mount. That was shot. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. We removed all the bolts from the timing cover, and you guys can see this was important for me, so I marked it where every bolt goes, because every bolt is a little bit different to some degree. Let me show you. Some of these bolts are 12, some of these bolts are 10, some of these bolts have like a different head here, so I just did that. Again, I'm probably sure I showed you guys this. This is done. This is the engine mount. As you can see, the head is completely stripped from all the torque, I assume. Would you look at that? That's the bolt in there that holds this, and this should be one solid piece. That should be one solid piece. Well, my trans mount is shot too, just holding on for bare life. Now the only thing we're looking at here is the crank pulley. This is going to be a nightmare to remove, because from what I just was told, this is like 200 pound-feet of torque. So I'm going to YouTube real quick how to take this off. My impact gun, that's electric, from Harbor Freight, Chicago Electric impact gun, will not even touch this. As you can see, I got the engine resting on a wooden block over there. So that's a little nerve-wracking. I don't want that to fall. But this is where we are right now, guys. This is where we are. Pretty much once we get that crank bolt out, we can remove that crank pulley and pry the timing cover off. And at that point we can loosen the timing chain guides and the timing chain tensioner, which I'll show you guys once we're up there. Again, I got the car's timing set up perfectly, so it's on TDC first cylinder, and I had to spin it like 50 times, but I got the dark link. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this link right over here where the yellow is, the yellow mark is, it's the dark gray one, so that at least gonna align between the head and the crank, align properly. So I think I'm at a standstill. The head bolts are a 12 point, and I'm definitely gonna need a breaker bar on that, so my brother hopefully can borrow me his breaker bar. And I think that's gonna be another wrap for the day. Pretty happy with the progress. I'm pretty happy that I got the chain belt serpentine tensioner off. I'm gonna organize, keep the bolts in a couple bags, just so it's, you know, I don't lose everything. Again, the deeper I go in this rabbit hole, I feel like the harder it's going to be to put everything back. But and then we haven't even taken the head off or nothing. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Support the channel, Venmo, QuickPay if you guys want to support the cause, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. I ain't here for the money.